On today's episode of PJ and the Beard, we're taking a look at the NUX Atlantic Delay and Reverb. It's part of their Verdugo series.
Yeah, and this is a nice pedal. Mm-hmm. This series, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, the Verdugo series, yes.
And so I mean, we're kind of jumping right into things here. You have a delay and a reverb, and then on the delay side, you have a 60s, a 70s, and an 80s delay. So you have like your 60s would be like your tape echo. Your 70s would be your bucket brigade. Think like DM2. Comparable to something today, you'd be thinking like carbon copy.
Right.
And then 80s is more of a digital
giant
delay.
rack.
Yeah. And it has that kind of, it seems to have that kind of built-in dotted eighth kind of thing going on.
Right.
Then you jump over to the reverb side. You have a spring reverb. You have a plate reverb. And you have a Hall Reverb. Did I get that right?
Yes, I said that.
And so, and on the plate setting, you can even get like a shimmer out of it. So it has like the major kind of things that you would look for in a delay or a reverb. And a pretty affordable package. Metal box, well built. I've been seeing a lot of these on people's boards. And I think I know why.
Right.
I mean, it's a pretty serious little unit if you want to put everything at the end.
Right.
So we've raved for a long time about like the Dispatch Master, which had a delay and a reverb in it, which we really like. Same kind of concept, but you've upped the game here, giving you a lot more options.
Features, yeah. A few more styles and types of reverbs and delays.
So
I gotta do something. You're gonna see my good side here for a second because we have reverb in there. I'm gonna turn the reverb off in the Tyler.
He said he was going to turn the reverb off in the Tyler.
I just did, didn't I?
Yeah, but I don't know if they could hear you because you were talking that loud.
I turned the reverb off in the Tyler.
Just to make editing easy.
Yeah. So a dry amp. Oh my gosh. It's dry. It's dry as my throat right now.
So, Revolta Madata.
Yes. To the Tyler JT22. Sorry.
So let's start where it's set. You want to start with reverb or delay?
Yeah, I was just turn the reverb off. You can show the reverb here, and you have it on the Hall, right?
Mm-hmm. So on the reverb side, let's just real quick. You have two knobs. You have a level and you have a decay. So decay is how long that reverb's going to last. So if I turn that decay way up, if we turn the level way up, the video will be 2 hours while we wait for the trails to stop. Another simple thing that we can do you want to check that real quick? More decay?
A little more, yeah.
So another cool thing that we can do is with that switch, it says hold for shimmer, that happens, the shimmer happens in plate. I don't think it happens in the other ones, but if you hold it, so if Pat plays in that, there might be a little shimmer.
There's some shimmer there. It's different.
Is it the shimmer or is it because you're playing? I don't know.
It's in there.
Sounds good. That's the whole reverb side of the pedal.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we can take this little mini toggle up here and move up to spring.
It's like an infinite hold.
Yeah, it's a cool feature. And then the middle position would be plate. Which definitely has.
Yeah. So all the different flavors of shimmer. There's definitely some octaves, some things happening in all three of those. Even the other one seemed more like a hold.
Mm-hmm.
But there was overtones.
And I'm wondering if it was like the shimmer built in, or when you were playing some of the other stuff, if it just grabs and creates that. I don't know. Anyway, you look at it, it sounds good. I mean, I like how it works. And so you got three. I mean, the spring sounds good. The plate sounds good. The Hall sounds good. We'll flip it back down the Hall, leave it there for now. And now jump over to the delay side. So on the delay, we have a level, time, and repeat. And then on the switch, so we turn it on. If we tap the switch quick, it's like a smart tap. So it can turn it on and off, and it can also let you tap it in. And so when you're tapping on the switch, your time knob becomes subdivisions. You have a whole host of subdivisions there.
You do. You have more subdivisions than the DC suburbs.
So right now, I believe it's on 80s.
It is.
Pretty cool. So the big difference here, well, of course we have repeat. So if we turn this up, the repeats are gonna go forever. And the level's gonna bring it up in the mix. So up in the mix.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Crazy. You notice it has trails on it too.
Yes, it does.
Right, because when we turned it off, it kept going.
It's like the Appalachian Trail.
Right. So that's digital. If we go from the 80s to the 70s, we're getting into that bucket brigade thing, like the DM2 for Boss or the carbon copy from MXR. So the trails are going to sound a little different. And they degrade out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But not as much. If you really like that kind of degrading thing,
right,
when you flip it to the tape echo, and one of the things I like about tape echoes is because they do degrade like that, it sometimes it almost gives a chorusy sound to what when you're playing chords, you get like a kind of a chorus to it. Let's do that one time. Let's turn the mix way up and just hit it and let the trails go. And you hear them start to degrade and get darker and softer and as it goes. So a couple more features I think worth mentioning that happen on the back of the pedal. So one of those is stereo. So we've gone ahead now and hooked it up in stereo. So far it's been in mono, clip in the beginning and then or in mono. We'll let Pat play a little bit in stereo here in a minute.
Right.
Let's talk about the other things too. There's two other switches on the back. One of them is a +4 dB. So it's kind of counterintuitive. Like if your signal going into the pedal is too hot, you can bump that up +4 dB. So the owner's manual says bump it up. We're like, well, if it's too loud already, why would you bump it up? But it gives you more headroom.
Right.
So it's kind of like if you have really super hot pickups going into a small amp, you drive the amp too quick. If you go to a higher wattage amp, you have more headroom. You're not going to drive it as fast. And then the other switch is a series parallel switch. So far, we've been running it in parallel.
Yep.
So the signal's going in, hitting the delay, hitting the reverb, and then coming back together. So those two effects
are not affecting each other.
Right. So a lot of times if you're building a pedal board, you put your delay and then your reverb. And so you do that. I always put reverb last. But then the hits of your delay should affect the hits of the reverb. So right now we've gone ahead and we have this set up where the reverb is first. Right?
I'm going to say yes.
So the reverb's first. So you can hear the reverb hit kind of trail away, but you'll hear the delay keep going without it, I guess. So there's no delay, no reverb on those trails. If we unplug it, hold the delay button down. Plug it back in. So now delay's first going into reverb, and you do that same thing. It should sound a little different.
There's more of a wash.
Right, because the reverb's getting triggered by the delay. And we purposely set that up like on a spring with a really short decay so it would kind of fade out pretty quick. The other thing we can do is reach around in the back of the pedal, flip that knob, that switch, down to series. So now the delay is not being affected at all or the reverb's not being affected at all by so the reverb just does its thing. So if you set it up long, it will go long. If you set it short, not being affected by the...
Which is really interesting. We were talking about that, but we had it set that way when we were demoing the two things. We're talking about, we most of the time play through a pedal board. So effect order matters. And never have we run...
Right, and I said series, when I flipped it, I meant parallel, right? We flipped it down to parallel, so now they're side by side. Now I think we've covered all the features, except for maybe stereo. Is there anything here that you'd like to set it up just to play? I mean, maybe a 30-second noodle, or should I change some things while you play?
Yeah, you can do that. I want to play the same
Probably
thing.
need a little bit. They're like those degrading repeats. You probably like that kind of crystal clear of the 80s a little bit better, but
I guess I was playing with more tape delays lately. I've gotten used to that.
I love it. I think that's it.
It's a really cool pedal.
Yeah. Price point? I mean, I feel like it's high-end features at a more reasonable price point. But NUX, I don't feel... We've done a lot of NUX pedals at this point.
Right.
And they keep surprising us. It's not an inexpensive pedal that does an okay reverb or an inexpensive pedal that does an okay distortion. It's normally like kind of an inexpensive pedal that sounds really good.
Yeah, I thought this one sounds good.
So, always like to take a moment and just thank everybody for subscribing, hitting the notification bell, and doing all that kind of stuff. We really appreciate it. Anytime you interact with the show, whether it's through YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, it helps us out, helps us keep doing cool stuff like this. Please stop by the website. There's a whole section on all the NUX stuff that we've looked at, and it's been quite a bit at this point. Check that out. And as always, thank you to our members. We appreciate that way of supporting the show. You guys rock. And so with that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.